Hello friends and welcome back for episode 2 of our Long Live the Queen Let's Play. So before we get started here, a couple of things I wanted to address. Number one, really kind of surprised at the pretty much positive reception of the first episode going up. I waited to record episode 2 until I'd seen a little bit of what you guys had to say about it and whether or not you were even interested in me going forward with this. And it seems like, at least to some degree, that is probably where we should go ahead with it. Another thing I want to mention, you guys had noticed in the comments the cursor kind of teleports around a little bit. Sorry about that. That's sort of just a constraint of this game engine. For whatever reason, it only animates at full 60 frames per second when there's something on the screen. Otherwise, it seems to conserve its frame rate at something like 5, so that's kind of bad. But hopefully nobody minds too much. If it's a big deal, I can just get rid of the cursor entirely. But we'll figure it out. Another thing, people mentioned that I should save all the time because I might want to go back and course correct if I find myself in a particularly bad situation or something. I kind of want to just roll with it. If that happens, it happens. But I did also notice in going to the menu, there are actually a crap ton of save slots, so I could save constantly if I wanted to. And then here's what's really weird. If you go to 13, that's the end. You'd think if you go to next, it would make 13 save 14. It doesn't. It just keeps on going, I believe indefinitely, so you've got just like infinite save slots. They just aren't represented by a number at the top of the screen for whatever reason, so I don't know how that's all working. Also, we do have an auto setting over here, which I guess is the auto save, so in case you might have needed to go back, there do seem to be some sort of points that would let you do that. So, I think we should actually get started here because that's kind of a lot of housekeeping before we actually get into things. So where did we leave off with our mood? We are less yielding, or more yielding, less willful right now. Our current mood is yielding. And you guys are so kind as to give me a couple of pointers in the fact that there aren't really any positive or negative moods. It just is the way it is. So certain factors are going to change what attributes we get bonuses for, and that's really all we need to worry about. So, with yielding being our predominant disposition at the moment, I suppose we should probably work on, again, things like royal demeanor and history, probably. Maybe some meditation if the mood strikes me. I don't think that's going to be the case. So we'll do some history and maybe some elegance or something like that. So let's see. I'll go to our classes, go to history. We haven't done any foreign affairs, right? So we'll do that. And we want royal demeanor, the ability to be beautiful and dignified under any circumstance. That seems like a nice thing to keep your composure, I guess. So we'll say we're done, and what is that going to yield in this case? So probably a pretty big point bonus there, 16.60. I think this is about the highest I've gotten for 1 day's worth of class, or 1 week's rather, worth of classes. You study the relationship of Nova and its nearest neighbors. The borders have been mostly peaceful in recent years, except for the problems with Ixion to the south. However, trouble may be brewing in Piraeus as well. Alright, gotta keep that in mind, I suppose. Afternoon, you practice walking along a narrow rail, taking each step carefully and focusing on your balance. Good enough. Alright, Banian, Duke of Marie, Earl of Serenitatis. Serenitatis. I don't know, I'm really bad at pronouncing some of these words. Your Highness, my sympathies for your loss. Even after all these years, I sometimes forget my own mother will never be coming back. Thank you. However, I must call for your aid. The Ixionite occupation of the county of Imperium has gone on for too long. Now's the time to push back. Test foreign affairs failed. Well, I've been trying. I know there's some problems with Ixion, but I don't know the details. I guess they're occupying South Marie. Well, can't your father help you with this kind of thing? I don't know anything about the military. I don't want to fight. There must be a peaceful way to settle this. I will send for diplomats from Ixion and try and come to some arrangement. Thank you, Your Highness. Alright, well, there's something. Your Highness, if I may ask, the necklace you're wearing, where did it come from? It was a gift from the Duke of Sedna. Uh-oh, this might be bad. Then you have made arrangements with him? Oh, court manner success. I think he's asking if I'm engaged to the Duke. I keep my options open. I just like jewelry. Not at all. +1 to willful. But I appreciate presents, doesn't everyone? If you say so, Your Highness. That was kind of an awkward interaction, I must say, but I suppose, operating on the high level of being a royal. Sometimes you're allowed a little bit of that kind of a thing. Now that you've finished studying, what will you do for the weekend? What's my mood at now? I could perhaps swing a little bit more toward willful, but honestly, who cares, right? I think it really doesn't matter. It's just about what we want to do. And it's about what we want to influence to try and pull things back in one direction or the other. Let's take a walk in the gardens. Walk in the fresh air helps you forget the burdens on your shoulders, and that is all we get from that. So week 10, I should mention, by the way, if you were wondering, there is apparently 50 weeks. I don't know if I mentioned this even in the first episode, but there are 50 weeks from the start of the game to your coronation, and that's the amount of time that you need to stay alive for. So right now we are 1/5 through the challenge laid out before us, and I'm not sure if there is going to be a natural breaking point for these episodes, but in case, I do get killed or something horrible happens, I guess that would always be a good point. Other than that, we'll just continue things on as pretty much normal, trying to make some strides, better ourselves, get some learning done, and see where things go. So let's look at our classes again. Let's look at our skills again, rather. See if there's anything I should stay away from in particular. Weapons, still kind of bad. We should probably work more on stuff like intrigue. That seems to be pretty important. Economics, military, that's all going to be important as well. Alright, and those don't have any huge negatives on them, so let's do classes. And why don't we do military, just strategy, the skill of achieving victory on land. Alright, let's take that. And we will take... what else was I just saying? Intrigue. What the nobles and other citizens are up to, internal affairs. Alright, let's take those two. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could really rush through this, and in the case that I die and find myself repeating a large chunk of the game, maybe that is the tactic I will take, but for now I sort of enjoy going through this at a slower pace. I'm also curious to know to what degree the events in this are randomized, if they even are. There may be just, a pretty straightforward linear path to this game, in which case that will kind of defeat some of the replay value, but so far, I'm enjoying things. That actually may be very much the point, to go through this in a linear fashion. Maybe the story progresses the same way every time. You're supposed to learn what you need at what point. And obviously there's some branching paths and different endings and such. So week 10, morning, you study the strengths and weaknesses of different weapons and battle formations. Afternoon, until you have children of your own, your maternal uncle, the Duke of Merva, is next in line for the crown. And after him would be his daughter, your cousin Charlotte. Alright, the representatives from Ixion is here. Be careful, no one wants to give up prizes that they have won. You have the full support of my sister and myself, your highness. Let's get this over with. Novan history failed. Man, that's a lot of failing already. Your Royal Highness, thank you for granting me this audience. I am sure we can come to some amicable agreement. Let bygones be bygones. No, we will forget about your unprovoked attacks on us, and you will transfer the rights to this little province. Failed. Again, foreign affairs, keep failing everything. We can be good neighbors again, because State Farm is there, without any lives being lost. Alright, so here are our options. We can surrender the province, offer him money. If Ixion withdraws, bluff/intimidate, or execute him. Ooh. Alright, this is where things start to get pretty heavy. I kind of like going the positive route when I can, but I don't know that I necessarily have the stats to back this decision up. I would prefer to, if we could, offer him money if Ixion withdraws. Kind of don't like surrendering things. That makes me kind of weak. Bluffing/intimidating, I'm pretty sure they're going to call my bluff and I'm not going to be able to back it up. And executing him is just mean. I don't really want to be that kind of a queen, right? I think that's sort of the precedent that I've tried to set so far, is that I'm not going to be, an iron-fisted ruler. I'm not sure if that's a good idea or not. We'll find out if this ends up failing. So we're going to offer him money. And what happens? That is not acceptable. All the land north of the river belongs to us. We are willing to offer some payment in exchange for the inconvenience you have suffered, but nothing more. So, well, I was hoping this would come off sort of in a positive light, but the way she's doing it sort of seems like we're forcing him, we're sort of strong-arming him into making this decision, or we're making the decision for him. I would have preferred to leave the ball in his court in some way, or at least have a bit more of a negotiation other than just sort of like tell him what it is. Diplomat, I believe we could settle this matter for 8,000 golden lassi. Given that there was like 860 or something thrown around before in that investment deal, That seems like a lot, but I don't know. Let's see. That's an awful lot of money. Accounting failed. Logistics failed. Oh my god, everything's failed. I can agree or I can refuse. Alright, let's try... Well, I already set up this negotiation. I doubt that if I refuse, we will renegotiate. It's probably just going to end up in a bunch of bad blood, and then they'll probably send like an assassin after me or something. Maybe they already have. Let's see what happens if I hit agree. Very well. Negotiating like this is stressful. +1 to pressured. Alright, well, that went somehow. I'm not really sure if that was good or bad, how that ended. I'm pretty sure we're not supposed to give away money to that degree. Where's our mood at now? Cheerful is kind of resounding. That seems good. Yielding. Is there anything that gives you straight up just willful? I don't think so, right? That just happens as a result of other stuff. I wish we could get extra... Oh, +2 to willful from sneak out, right? I wish going to court actually gave us some stat points and some other thing. Explore castle, +1 to lonely, +1 to afraid. What is that going to put me at if I did something like that? Well, I would be less angry. I don't feel like I particularly have much anger brewing in me. Let's do +2 to willful and +1 to lonely. You sneak out of the castle to have a little fun. You enjoy your freedom, but your father won't like it if he finds out. Does he ever find out? Alright, so no particularly bad thing took place from us making that decision. It is now week 11. Our mood is now very even, actually. Our prevailing mood is cheerful. So, looking at our skills today, what do we have for bonuses? Let's see. We have athletics. Looks like it is becoming dominant. Conversation also dominant. So athletics and conversation is going to be where we're going to put our skills for the moment. Oh, I mean our classes, rather. So athletics. Why don't we try climbing? I don't know. I don't think I've done that before, right? And conversation. Let's do flattery. Maybe there's a skill check in there I might end up passing that I might need. Week 11 morning. You practice climbing up and down fixed ladders, driving out any fear of heights, and learning to move swiftly and surely. Okay, well, I guess climbing up and down ladders is good queen training. I don't know. Afternoon, you learn that it's important to make eye contact when saying nice things about someone. Yeah, that's solid advice. Doesn't make you seem too wishy-washy then. Alright, so there are reports that a key thong has been sighted leaving the old forest. I don't know what that means. What's a key thong? Yeah, that's right. Alright, well, we're on the same page. Me, a 28-year-old guy, and a 14-year-old queen-to-be don't know what a key thong is. Although you'd think, in thongs, we would have our own versions of expertise in that respect. Never mind. A beast with the body of an enormous golden cat, a sharp beak, and spikes on its back. Now that sounds like the kind of pet that I would love to have in my royal court. An enormous golden cat, just by itself, sounds amazing. Eek! Several disappearances in southern Coloris are already thought to be the work of this creature. Okay. What do we do? Should we send hunters? The traditional policy on stray beasts is to hope that they return to the forest and stay there. Hunters are no match for such creatures. You would only make it angry and waste more lives. So we just let it eat people? Everyone dies in the end. Wow, that's an awfully dismal way to look at things. +1 to depressed. Pretty reasonable that is what happened there. Also, there is a letter for you. Talarist, the Duke of Sedna, will be arriving next week for an official visit. Alright, so now our mood is still cheerful, but we are closer to being across the threshold again toward depressed. So is there anything here that might give us a little bit more cheerful? Yielding, lonely, cheerful, angry, lonely. Such strange things that we get from these. Depressed and afraid. I always forget which thing is opposite of which thing. So afraid would take away angry. Depressed takes away cheerful. I don't know, I guess we'll play with toys for the weekend again. Spend the weekend holed up in your room with your favorite toys. Childish, but you feel a little better. And I believe that did just throw us back down. Oh no, okay, I guess our prevailing mood now is yielding. I like when she's cheerful, it makes everything seem happier. Alright, let's look at our skills again. History, got a big bonus on it right now, and royal demeanor. I mean, I'm getting used to now that this is sort of how this goes when we get to this point. Yielding results in you want history and royal demeanor as your 2 choices. I should also consider maybe some economics, so why don't we do royal demeanor and economics. We'll do like accounting or something like that. I kind of want to stack something so we'd have like a higher chance of actually passing a check here. So composure, elegance, or presence, and accounting. I'm not sure which thing here is really going to be... Alright, let's do presence. And we want economics, accounting. That seems like a really useful thing to know about. Or trade, have we not done much in trade? Yeah, let's do trade. Okay, morning classes. You practice wearing your royal regalia and looking at yourself in the mirror. Young as you are a queen of the blood. You are your mother's daughter. You are forced to be reckoned with. Yeah, that's right. You stare at yourself in the mirror and practice focusing and transmitting energy with only your eyes, turning the intensity of her gaze on and off at will. Alright, now she's getting stuff done. Looks like that is kind of a good thing. When we start to cross that threshold towards the 20 mark of a point, then, yeah, it seems like we're actually getting to a point where we might make a difference. Afternoon, you learn that even the smallest of villages has a central market where locals can trade what they have grown or made with others who have different skills. Fair enough. The most basic Economics 101. Alright, Talorus, Duke of Sedna is here. Ah, your highness, what a pleasure it is to meet you in person at last. Your description did not do you justice. Giggle. Flattery failed. Ugh. I don't know how to deal with handsome older men paying me compliments. We're not going to get into the whole she's 14 thing. We're just going to sort of say that that's how things are. Let's not apply too much of reality here or any of that weirdness. Yes, I know that is sort of inescapable, but we're just going to kind of just gloss over that if we can. I was so pleased to hear that you had accepted my humble offering, a jewel for a jewel, but you are the most precious. We'll just say she's 18, and then everything is A-okay. I hope that this only is the beginning of a mutually beneficial relationship. A union between us would bring stability to both our peoples. That's how it starts, doesn't it? He really does want to marry me. Do we want to accept his offer or politely decline? Isn't that awfully quick? I mean, shouldn't we, like, hang out with this guy for a while first? But if we decline, then he might decide that we're his enemy. So that could be bad. But I don't really just want to, you know, accept the first offer that I get, because I don't know who's out there. I haven't met anybody. I'm freaking young yet. I'm freaking 18, right? Politely decline. Oh, geez, but I'm really bad at some of this stuff. Alright, hopefully I can get through this. I need to let him down gently. Ah, court manners failed. I am not marrying you. I'm only 14. Well, okay, I guess we can't really escape that, can we? That may not have been gentle. She even freaking bolded the knot. I see. I regret that misunderstanding. Alright, that was awkward and embarrassing. Alright, next time I guess I'm gonna have to try and focus on getting some of my court manners up earlier. So, prevailing mood still yielding. What do I want to change? Is there anything I could pull back? Willful, pressured maybe. Do I want something like that? Let's do yielding, depressed, and pressured. What is depressed again? The opposite of cheerful. That'll still put us at the mid-range, so we'll do that. Alright, so we get +2 yielding, +1 depressed, +1 pressured. Sitting in on court sessions, not fun at all, but it pleases your father. It may be important to your future. I still don't know if sitting in on court stuff has anything to do with the father, like, opening up to you or changing the way he reacts to you. I'm kind of hoping that is a thing, but I don't know. Anyway. Alright, mood. We are very much in the yielding position now. We are very far away from the mid-range again, so maybe I need to focus on getting yielding back in that direction, unless I really want to keep going in the same direction on skills. Let's see, what do we have today? Conversation. Let's do that. I really want to focus on some of these important skills that I just have completely neglected, but I'm not really getting much in the way of bonuses. We could do, like, world affairs or foreign affairs. How about we do... No, Novan. Let's do Novan history and court manners. Alright. Not the biggest possible... No, let's do composure and Novan history, since I want to get these bonuses since they're here. So, royal demeanor and history, right. Classes. Royal demeanor. composure, and history, Novan history. Done. Week 13, morning. You practice positive thinking, maintaining a good self-image, then conditioning yourself to carry on rather than be frustrated by any misstep. That seems like a good foundation. You practice sitting calmly while your teacher circles around you and makes unexpected loud noises at random intervals. It's a very strange way that they produce some of these effects, but okay. Afternoon. Alright, so we're in history class. Nova's history involves an endless slew of names and dates, even as small as it's become. There are 10 dukedoms, no 11 now, plus the royal line. You hope no one expects you to memorize every lineage. I expect you to memorize every lineage. You can do this. No individual may hold more than one dukedom, but nobles seek noble spouses, so titles often come together before being parceled out to heirs. Your father is Duke of Caloris, and his brother is Duke of Mazamba. Bryn, Duchess of Hellas, is the sister of Banyan, Duke of Mari, and so on. That's right, and so on. Better not be a test on this. Alright, you are requested to stand in judgment. A woman has been convicted of attempted murder and requests the mercy of the crown. This should be interesting. Kevan, Earl of Io, or Lo, I'm not sure if that's a capital I or a lowercase l. Your Highness, this slattern... Oh, that seems like a real bad word that I'm not even aware of what that is. Dares to beg pardon when she admits that she tried to poison my sister under her own roof. Which sister? Corisande, the Duchess of Mead. Is there anyone here that's not a Duchess or something? Is she alright? History failed. She is unharmed. We caught the culprit in the kitchens before anyone could eat her foul spew. Well, what do you have to say for yourself? It's justice, it is. Them devils killed my brother and broke my mam's heart, or me mam's heart. Lied to her, they did. When she went to see why they'd not come back, she had said he'd gone for a soldier when he never would. He weren't the only one, neither. I'm so terrible at this way of speaking. I waited 10 years for my chance to get my own back. That's justice. You see, she's completely unrepentant. Hang her and be done with it. Internal affairs failed. My goodness, I'm failing everything. I don't know what this is all about. Either way, murder is a serious crime, but... put her to work, imprison her, or execute her. I'm not a fan of execution, really, in general. I mean, maybe we could try that roll on at one point if things don't work well the way they are now. Putting her to work, I'm not sure if that would be better or worse than imprisoning her. And I'm kind of failing to see why one would really make a significant difference. So, I mean, I guess I'll imprison her. I mean, if she did try to poison people, that's a thing, regardless of why she tried to do it, but we'll see what happens. You have tried to murder a noble of my domain, and I have no reason to believe you wouldn't do it again. You'll be imprisoned for the rest of your life. Well, I didn't get to choose anything like that. Okay, fine. You'll not have me. All of a sudden, she breaks loose from her guards and rushes at you. In your court dress, you are unarmed, you grope for a weapon and find only a heavy golden ornament, which you hurl in her direction. Archery failed. Your missile flies wide of its mark. Before you have a chance to do anything else, your personal guards step into action, cutting the woman down before she can endanger you. Her lifeless body lies bleeding on your carpet. Clean that up. Ooh, she's a badass. Alright, I kind of thought I was about to die there. Props for at least thinking to throw something at her, I guess, but still, had we not had the guards, that would have been pretty awful, I'm sure. Although, you know, she shouldn't have been armed either, right? You know, she was in court. I can't imagine they're allowing people to bring weapons into the royal court, but I don't know. What do I know about this stuff, right? So we need to pull ourselves back into the willful domain, I would say. What gives us willful? Sneaking out gives us a bunch of willful. But I really should, like, mix up some of these, right? Like, I keep going in the same direction every single time, which is just sort of to find balance. If I made angry my prevailing trait, I wonder what that would end up yielding. That would turn down lonely. Why don't we try sports again? I've done this a few times. Anger +1, affected by loneliness, lonely -1. You take to the court for a few games of tennis, feel the thrill of competition. Alright, so our prevailing mood's still yielding. I guess I probably should have kicked that up in the other direction, but then angry should probably stay up a little bit. We'll see. Oh, I still can't change my outfit. Skills. Alright, royal demeanor definitely has its nice bonus still. History seems to be a really important thing. I seem to fail things on that constantly. I should also start worrying about weaponry. Being able to defend myself seems to be an issue. Although reflexes, I would think if reflexes were high enough, it might be able to cancel out some of the stuff I might need from that. Although, still don't really know that for sure. Public speaking. Let's do... Well, weapons have a huge minus to them right now, so that would be kind of a bad call, I would think. It's really hard to make up my mind some of these times when I'm looking at these things. I really want to push just being really good at one or two things, at least for the start. Let's do another one into elegance or composure, and another one into, like, economics, accounting. Let's do that. Alright, classes. Royal demeanor. Oh, what did I establish was public speaking at? Forgot already. Public speaking is on conversation and court manners as well. Okay, let's change things up. Let's do that. We'll do court manners and accounting. Court manners and... I wish you could just check it right off through the mood menu. That way you can see the bonuses right in front of you when you're making these decisions. Economics, accounting, done. Yeah, I still think the UI could use a little bit of work. Alright, as the person of highest rank within the domain, no one may sit at any formal event unless you give them permission, and no one must ever turn their back on you. If they do, you are intended to recognize the insult. Okay. Afternoon, I hope they never are like, what do you do in this situation, given that you know this information, because I'm just not going to know. Afternoon, you study the manipulation of larger quantities through direct calculations using written numbers instead of an abacus. Good. Alright, that's a solid baseline, I suppose. As you're walking one day in the gardens, you hear a strange sound and look up to see an owl flying overhead. A single dry leaf flutters in its talons. Divination failed. Falcons failed. That's funny, I thought owls were nocturnal. I guess I was wrong. When you return to the castle, your father is waiting for you. There is a woman here to see you. She wishes crown funding for a project. Thank you for seeing me, Your Royal Highness. I come to you on behalf of the people. I wish to build a hospital where any citizen afflicted with disease can be brought for treatment. Oh, I'm probably about to fail a bunch of checks. There we go. Test herbs and battlefield medicine failed. Putting all the sick people together, wouldn't that make them die even faster? You can't falter. She's young. Alright. We are not interested. Oh, man. And she even gets this confident look on her face when she says that, too. Alright, so mood. I think I had already made up a decision here, right? I wanted to do... what was it? +2 to willful, I think. So sneak out again. Man, I'm really pushing lonely, though. Well, no, I guess we're fine. Sneak out of the castle, have a little fun, enjoy your freedom. Father won't like if he finds out. I sneak out an awful lot. Okay, so my mood now, angry is my prevailing mood. So let's look at our skills. What are our bonuses when angry is your prevailing mood? Military goes up. And weapons. Alright, this is the thing I actually needed. I really need to get some sword training done. And military wouldn't be a bad idea as well. I'm not sure if logistics or naval strategy are all that necessary, but let's do military strategy a second time and swords for a first level. Man, I keep clicking on the wrong thing. They should just, like, set this up so it's just, like a progression of buttons across the bottom, I think. Weapons, swords. Also, I wonder if it matters if you pick one in the morning and one in the evening, or, like, switch the two of them. Kind of a curious thing, I guess. What is logistic B? Only move troops and supplies in a timely fashion. I wonder when that would apply. I'm going to do strategy again. I don't want to be a jack of all trades, master of none, right? You take up a wooden sword and practice correct grips and stances. Bonus plus angry, so I have 15.36 points there. Afternoon, you study the effects of battle stress on troops and how morale can turn the tide of combat. That's kind of a useful thing to know. Alright, so the king says, remember that the festival of the Good Lady is approaching. There will be public celebrations for the commoners, followed by a grand gala for the nobility. As queen, you would be expected to lead the procession and take part in the ceremonial planting, possibly give a speech. However, since you are not yet crowned, it is not required, and it may not be safe to expose you to the public. What do you mean, not safe? Outside of the castle, you are less well protected. If anyone means you harm, think on it now, decide later. There's a letter for you as well. It is from Bryony. I went to school with her, but she's a couple years older than me. Her mother is the Duchess of Mead. She's complaining that her mother still won't let her come home for the holidays. Apparently her uncle Kivan has been acting strangely lately and shouting at shadows. That's kind of bad news. She's bored and looking for an adventure. Well, I don't have any to suggest to her. Well, that's sort of a strange little event that had no point, I guess. Alright, so looking at our thing again, so we want to go in the direction perhaps of increasing angry, maybe? Because that could end up giving us a bigger bonus to military? Does it work that way? I'd really love to get some military training or weapons training done. So, I don't know. Let's try that out. Another 2 anger, affected by loneliness. A few game of tennis. Is there any other sports? I wonder if I can even unlock... Maybe there's other places that I can even go in the castle. Because when I look at that, it seems like there's still a bunch of other blank spots on the map. So, that is... Yep, so military 1.27, weapons 1.15. I guess we'll do one more check here and see what happens. We'll do, archery. I think it'd be a useful skill to know. And we'll do one in logistics. So archery and logistics for this one. Weapons, already selected, and I guess we can continue because it's already selected in the same ones. It saves it from the last time. Done! Week 16. You learn how to twist and wax bowstring from a variety of fibers. Alright, so we're not even to shooting arrows at this point, we're waxing bowstrings. Afternoon, you learn about the types and amounts of food required for an army on the march and how long they will remain edible. Okay, first steps, I suppose. Alright, today is the procession and planting of the festival for the Good Lady. Will you be leading the parade? If you have any concern about your safety, please stay here. The people will recover from disappointment. If we lose you, there is no recovery. I know that I failed just about everything in terms of checks, so I'm going to choose not to go. I know this might be a big mistake, because if, you know, maybe I end up getting a bunch of points or something, I don't even know. Can I get points from things like this? Might lead to an opportunity or something if I actually pass one of these, but for now, I don't really trust that I have enough points built up to be safe in a situation like this, and I don't really trust my ability to save myself from possibly being assassinated. I mean, they really seem to push that point that that is a thing that could happen, so I'm going to say I'd rather not go. I'd rather stay here, yielding, lonely. You watch your procession from your tower window, feeling safe but lonely. Suddenly you hear someone moving around inside your room. You turn in surprise, but it's only a maid. My lady, what are you? Should you not be in the procession? Skipping, faith failed. Skipping a major festival is everyone wondering about me. Confess your fears or yell at her. Alright, let's confess our fears. +1 to afraid. I can't go outside. There might be assassins. Man, that is such a tough thing. Like, can you imagine being that young and being worried about being killed like that? That's awful. I mean, it's like a pretty realistic thing to imagine. I know this is a fantasy situation, but there have been plenty of people in this exact position in reality. Not that I'm trying to make this too heavy, but it's like, yeah, it's a little heavy. Alright, so what are we going to do for our mood today? Pressured could probably go up. Cheerful would be welcome to go up as well. Plus lonely and +2 afraid. That would really pull things down. I don't know. -1 to angry. Plus yielding and afraid. I don't really want yielding to go much further down, but let's just do -1 angry. You attend services in Castle Grove, letting the peace of the ritual calm your heart. Fair enough. And our mood now is still... Okay, it's yielding, so angry's gone down a little bit. Well, hopefully I got enough training in there to make something of what I was just doing, because now we're back to learning history, I guess. So I'm starting to get the hang of how we manipulate some of these classes to hopefully make the best out of our training each day. I'm honestly really enjoying this game. It seems really like there's not much to it in some respects, but at the same time, it's kind of deep. I just hope that I don't continue to just constantly fail all these checks, but I assume that probably is going to actually happen for a while. And, if things turn out badly, then they turn out badly. We learn from our mistakes, hopefully try and redouble and make a better effort for next time. But yeah, I'm still enjoying it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying what this has turned out to be is sort of a let's play slash let's read together story time mode with Rockley Smiles. So hopefully you're into that kind of thing. I grant that, yes, this definitely isn't the game that would be for everyone, but I'm having a good time with it, and I'm pleasantly surprised. So if you are as well, please do let me know in the comments, and I will use that decision to hopefully figure out what the trajectory of this Let's Play is. I'm sort of planning on this not being super long, but also I'm having enough fun with it that, I'm not going to necessarily just cut things off for no reason. And don't think that Spelunky or Terraria or anything are on hiatus right now. I've just been sort of just changing my focus for the moment. But I will be getting back to Terraria and, of course, Tower of Guns also, because I just had an updated client happen for that. So there will be new stuff abounding very soon. So I will catch you next time. Thank you so much for being here. Please do continue to leave any support, and I will see you on the next episode. Later.